Hey, good evening. Today is October the 16th, 2020. Yes, we're still in 2020. Yeah, it's kind of it's in the evening now, and I at first I wasn't going to come on tonight. I was like, should I come on tonight? And then my spirit said, get your butt on there. But anyway, today was a very challenging day. And in life we're going to have our challenges in life, and sometimes we may find different ways of handling challenges or stress, and sometimes anxiety, feeling overwhelmment, when things happen or when you're not able to accomplish things. And I was sitting back going, okay, And so, anyway, I said to myself, I have to put myself on a homework assignment. And I noticed that when we were in class, in school, we get the lesson, and then the teacher gives us a homework assignment, to see if we got it. So we said, oh, we'd be complaining. We were kids, we were complaining about the homework assignment. Nobody wants to do homework. Who wants to do homework? But anyway, I sometimes put myself on a homework assignment because it kind of helps me to, stay focused on the lesson. And so, as I was sharing before, as you get older, you tend to look at life a little bit differently than when you were younger. It's like you find yourself uh, in certain zones, and you be like, wow, like when this happened to me when I was in my 20s, my thought process and my mindset was like different back then. So as you get older, you see things a little bit differently, and you kind of say, okay, I can handle this a little bit different today. As you as before, you didn't quite know what to do. You be like, oh, what should I do? But as you get older, sometimes the wisdom sets in, and then you find yourself saying, I don't want to, do the old stuff again. I want to, do something different. I want to handle things differently now. And it can be quite challenging because, in life, no one knows what's going to happen from day to day. I mean, we can, sometimes we might get intuition about certain things, but, sometimes we don't know what's going to happen. Sometimes we take life one day at a time, and then that's all we can go. And sometimes it's one step at a time or 1 minute or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, I said, okay, I got the lessons. I know that I am not in charge of things of life, but I am responsible for my own behavior and my own actions, and how I decide to handle things. So I said, let me do my routine. So I lit my candle. And you know what? Instead of focus on a lit candle, it really keeps you. It's like a centeredness. It's like it's just being still for a moment. And then I found myself in a meditative state. I was like, just like I got real calm. And sometimes it takes me a while to get calm, because I be thinking about what happened and what I want to do and what didn't get done, and why this happened, why that happened, rather than me focusing on, you know, what can happen, or just letting it go for a minute. So I had to like refocus my mind and say, hey, um, why don't you just let it go for a minute? Just let it go. And I'm like, well, how you get an attitude. And then finally I said, let me get rid of my attitude for a moment and just kind of like, get still for a second. Just get still and focus on that candle. And then as I got quiet, I could just, feel the spirit say, it's gonna be okay. Just let it go. And as human beings, we'd be like, yeah, right. So anyway, my homework assignment was to focus on that candle and just let it go, let it whatever it was go. And it's challenging because as you try to do that, you going back into what happened, and then I just took some deep breaths and I said, God, I know you already worked it out. Now, for me to say that and really believe it, now that's two different things, right? Because people always say, God's gonna work it out. Now, it's one thing to say it, but to actually believe it, then that's another homework assignment, for me was okay. I know God's gonna work it out, but to believe He's gonna work it out. Mm, my homework assignment. So anyway, it's interesting. So hey, I'm not even talking about my hair today, but anyway, getting to the hair part of it, and also it's also deal with your own hair because a lot of times, I find myself as the days and months go by, it's like I don't really focus so much on my hair as much like I did when I first got my locks. Sometimes people would tell me, "Man, wow," look at your hair and they be saying things, and you be looking like, "Wow, you know what? Wow, okay." Sometimes people see things that you don't see, and you be surprised, like your focus is it's like you find yourself focusing on things that's more important. And not to say that your hair is not important, but it's like at one point, when you first start, you be so concerned how long, when it's gonna get longer, how it's gonna look. You know how it is when you first new to something, you focus your attention on it, and then as the months go by, you find yourself focusing on things that's kind of more important, but yet something that's you know it's not as big like it was, like when you first start off. So it's like you just letting go, and going with the flow of things. So your hair, it goes through that journey too, like it goes through a flow, and it's there, and you do the things you need to do to keep it, you know, shampooing and moisture, keeping it moist, and especially during the winter months, when the weather shifts to a different climate, when it shifts, and your hair reacts to that too. So you find yourself, in that same zone. It's like letting go, and it's letting God just flow with it. And so it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting. So I just wanted to share that today because in life, especially now, we all are faced with many things, and some days are some days could be quite overwhelming, you know. And some people look at me, they be like, "She always smiling," but I don't smile. I don't smile all day long. Trust me, I don't be smiling all day, 24/7. But I just try to let go, and it's a journey. It's a homework assignment. When you are faced with something that's challenging, and then turning it over to the higher power, and believing that it's being worked out, even though the parents don't look like it. But like our mothers tell us, that's life. And the Lord said, you're gonna have days like this. Your mama told us that. You're gonna have those days where you're gonna just feel, how you feel. And so how we handle it is like one thing, like, some of us are going through extreme stress, or feeling overwhelmed, or feeling I need to do something about some things, and not knowing what to do. You feel like you want to do some things, but you feel that you don't know how to put things in place. And, it's like, what's that homework assignment? What can I do? And so I don't know who needs to hear this because everybody handles stress differently, or anxiety differently, or feeling overwhelmed differently. Some people go for long walks, you know. Some people watch TV or read a book or cook. Some people cook. Some people hug and kiss somebody, you know. Everybody has a way of handling anxiety or stress or whatever you might call it, you know. And everybody has to find a way that works for them. So I was sitting back thinking, like, okay, what's my homework assignment? So, and I'm laughing now because, you know, sometimes you have to laugh uh, just to keep from crying. You know, my grandmother used to say that a lot. She said, sometimes you gotta laugh just to keep from crying, you know. And you'd be like, I said, what's she talking about? And then I find myself doing that sometimes. I'm like, okay. Some things you don't get when you're young. You just have to wait till you get there. So anyway, uh, yeah, find that place of being centered, you know. That's what it's about. And then find that point, you know. So that candlelight, man, that candlelight, ooh, man, it really works, you know, for me. You know, just staying focused on that flame and saying, God, thank you. And then I know everything is being worked out. And even though I don't know the outcome, you know, sometimes we think the outcome gonna be like, you know, sometimes we in our minds we think, yeah, it's gonna be like this, you know. Sometimes it could be the total opposite of what it is. It could be better than the solution could be better than what we anticipate, you know. And sometimes just letting things go is just and that's a homework assignment. And finding finding a center point, you know, find that center, get back into the center of things. So anyway, I just want to share that. I'm not a doctor or counselor or anything like that. So I'm just a person who just want to share how, how to handle things, you know, because I was sharing with a friend of mine yesterday. I said, you know what? I want to learn how to handle things a little bit better. And then to be stressed over things, you know. And she said, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So, yeah, one step at a time. But anyway, if you have some suggestions on how to handle that, you know, stress, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, like what do you all do? Do you all light a candle or do you exercise? What do you all do? That's healthy now. Don't tell me nothing crazy because something that's good and healthy. Okay, because some people might say something crazy. I'd be like, oh no, I don't want to hear that. But something healthy, like what you guys do. But anyway, have the best evening ever. I just want to share that, because we all are faced with things, and sometimes just listening to other people is very comforting sometimes. Sometimes a person may say something that just be the target. You're like, guess what I need to hear? Yeah. So anyway, everybody, have the best evening ever, and may you find your focus on if you're going through it, may you find that what works for you. So anyway, take care, everybody. Peace.